Should be able to get an early start on this lesson. The more we get done, the sooner we can start answering questions, the sooner we get all those questions answered, the sooner you guys can get started on your homework. Got about 8 questions, got a few notes here to look at. Up to this point, what we've looked at is we have found the area of triangles by finding the base and the height, dividing that by 2. We've used sine, cosine, and tangent to find missing side links, to find missing angles, that type of information. Today what we're going to use is we're going to find the area of a triangle given 2 sides and an angle. Okay? And so we have 3 different formulas that we can use based upon this type of order of a triangle. Now granted, our triangle won't always necessarily be shaped like this, but if we're looking at, say, this part right here. What this is saying, this B and C, is the side lengths. So if I have side lengths B and C, and I know what angle A is, right? I know this guy right here, then I can find the area of this triangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the length of B times the length of C, right? I'm going to divide that by 2, and I'm going to multiply it by the sine of the angle of A, right? We're going to look at examples of how to do this later on, all right? But we could also do this where I have the length of A and the length of C, and I know this angle here. So what you should notice is that if I know 2 sides and the included angle of those 2 sides, then I can find the area of that triangle. Okay, the same thing that you see down here is if I know A and B and I have angle C, I can find the area of that triangle. Okay, so this is the area of triangle using the law of sines, and this is going to help me find area. Does this make sense? Right? You have a chart of this in your book. My suggestion to you is that if something shows up as a chart in your book, that it ought to be in your notes written down somewhere, whether you're typing it up or writing it down on paper. At this point, I don't see a whole lot of people. I see Yaneth and Mimi and a small handful of other people, and then I see a handful of people that are really not writing anything down. Okay? I think that you should. I think you should write down as much as you possibly can. Now, granted, this video is going to go out, so if you don't get it here, at least open up this video later on and take some good notes. Okay? From here, we're going to talk about the law of sines. If we need to find lengths of sides or sizes of angles, this is our law of sines. And basically what we're saying is we have a proportion. If I know angle A and side A, but I don't know what angle B is, but I do know what side B is, I can do sine of angle A over side A equal to sine of angle B over side B, right? And these can go in any order, right? If I don't have this information, but I'm looking for, say, C, I can set this proportion, or sorry, that ratio equal to that ratio, right? I can do A to C. I can do B to C, right? I can do B to C, right? I can use any 2 sine functions. Okay, you follow me? Okay. Okay, to find some missing lengths. All right, and for the most part, that's probably going to be, if you're asking, well, why would I ever do this? We're going to get some word problems in here in a little bit. But one is triangulation, right? If we're looking for a location, the process of determining a location or a distance of an object by sighting it from 2 fixed points a known distance apart is called triangulation. And triangulation can be used to solve many real-world problems, right? We use triangulation gets used in the real world all the time to find distances of things that are very, very far apart. If I know the distances of 2 objects from each other, I can find the distance to a third object that's very far away, right? I don't need a tape measure to do that, right? Because sometimes things are further than 25 feet apart. Okay, we don't want to use a tape measure for it. So we can triangulate. People use this to find people missing in the ocean somewhere. You can use triangulation, right? Triangulate somebody's position, right? You ever listen to a TV show where, somebody's lost out there and they're trying to triangulate their position based upon their cell phone or something along those lines. What that's all based upon is math, right? And it gets used here. So that's why we learn some of this stuff, is how it works. All right, so let's get into some questions and see if we can apply some of this. All right, question number 1. How long is side A to the nearest tenth of an inch? We're not trying to find area here, correct? Are we trying to find area or are we trying to find distance? We're trying to find distance. Okay, so that means we're going to use the law of sines. Okay? And we need 3 things in order to find a length here. I need 2 angles or 2 sides and an angle. I either need 2 angles and a side or 2 sides and an angle. Okay? What do I have? Do I have 2 angles and a side or do I have 2 sides and an angle? 2 angles and a side. Okay? So we're going to set up a proportion. Okay? Now, my sine angles will always go on top. Okay? So I can do sine what? Sine what? Sine 60 over what? Over what? Remember, what is this? This is sine what? A. So it should be sine of angle A over side what? A. Right? And A is what I'm trying to find. Okay, very good. All right, now what? What should go over here on the top right? Sine what? Sine 39 over what? 9 inches, right? I need 3 parts to find the 4th part, right? Okay, so this is how we do it. I mean, it's a proportion, so we would cross multiply and divide, correct? All right, so what I'm going to write up here is I'm going to write 9 sine 60 equals sine 39, or A sine 39. Now I want to solve for A, so what do I need to do with sine 39? Divide it to the other side. So sine 39, I'm going to divide by sine 39. So what I'm going to type in my calculator is 9 sine 60 divided by sine 39. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If I can find the right thing. Okay, let's clear this out. 9 sine 60. Should I have checked anything before I started? What should I check before I start? All right. Oh, my answer would have been wrong, right? Because I'm in radian mode. So let's go ahead and fix that. Okay. Divided by sine 39. And I get 12.3. 12.39, or sorry, 12.38. We want it to the nearest tenth of an inch. So what am I going to write up here? 12.4 is my answer. Do we understand the concept behind this so far? Okay. So I do want to make something clear just so that you understand this later on. All right, let's clear this out. Okay, here, we'll go back and look at some of our notes. All right, I want you to look at this picture right here. I want you to understand this, that my angles are always capitals. My sides are always lower cases. The other thing I want you to see is that the sides and the angles that are opposite each other will have the same letter. Okay? So C is opposite C, A is opposite A, B is opposite B. So side A is always opposite. Side A is always opposite angle A. Side B is always opposite angle B. Side C is always opposite angle C, and vice versa. Does that make sense? Okay, so you want to understand that going in, because sometimes we're going to have to draw a triangle. Okay, let's look at question number 2. All right, this is one such case. Given a triangle with A equaling 17, angle A equaling 43 degrees, and B equaling 30 degrees, we want to find C. We need to round to the nearest tenth. So what should I start off by doing? Drawing a triangle. Okay, so let's draw a triangle. Okay, Any triangle will do. Let's just start off here with putting our information on here. Let's see, Mimi, where would you put 17? Is it a side or an angle? It's a side? Okay, do you want to put it top left, top right, or bottom? Top left, 17. Okay, now that 17 is there, everything else kind of starts to fall into somewhat of a specific place. If 17 is here, where does 43 have to go? Bottom right. Has to go here because angle A has to be opposite side A. Okay? Now, B and C are fairly relative. Janet, where do you want to put your 30 degrees at? Bottom left? Okay, 30 degrees. Okay, that's B, which means this is little b, right? Which means this is little c. All right, and then we've got our big C up here. Now, we want to find little c. So, in order to find little c, I have to know what angle C is. Can I find out what angle C is? How? By doing an equation? No. We can actually find angle C a lot easier. No, this isn't a right triangle. You guys are making this way too complicated. How can I find angle C? Add? Add what? Add 30 and 43 and then do what with that? Not divide it by. Subtract it from 180 degrees. All right, so 30 plus 43 is 73. 180 minus 73 is what? 107? 107. So this is 107 degrees. Do we understand how we got that? Every triangle has 180 degrees. Now we need to write our proportion to find C. Okay? So what can I put top left? You want to use sine 30? We want to use sine 43. And the reason why is because I want to use something that has both a side and an angle. Okay? Does that make sense? So I'm going to do sine 43 over what? 17. Okay, now I want what I'm looking for. I'm looking for side C. Where am I going to put little c at? Bottom right. Which means what am I going to put on top right? Sine 107. Okay? So at this point, like, we should start kind of seeing how this is going to end up working out. I'm going to end up multiplying 17 times sine 107 divided by sine 43, right? So I should be able to write 17 sine 107 divided by sine 43. At this point, that's what I want you guys to do, right? I want you to tell me what your answer is. Okay, to the nearest tenth. Yes. Okay, they're right there. You got an answer, Lexi? What'd you get? 23.8 is what Lexi got. Anybody else? Corey, what'd you get? 23.8. Anybody else get an answer? What'd you get? 23.8. 23.8. 23.8. Anybody else? 23.8. Okay. You got it too? Okay, anybody else? Got it? Anybody else? Jose, Christian, what did you guys get? Did you work it out? Calculators are over there. Come on. Hey, if you guys are getting stuff done, I'm going to set one of you up here. I'm going to set you somebody else somewhere else. Because, right, we're not getting a whole lot done the way we're doing things right now. 23.8? Okay. All right, we're going to move on from here. All right, let's look at number 3. Find the length of side Q to the nearest tenth of a meter. Okay, length of side Q. All right, well, side Q, is that going to go on bottom or top of my proportion? Side Q goes on top? Bottom, always, right? Sides always go on the bottom of these, correct? Okay, so let's put it over here. Okay, what should go on top of side Q? Sine 42. Okay, what about on the left? It looks like I need to find some information, right? Because I can't have two variables in here, right? And I have to solve for Q, which means what's going to have to go on the bottom left? 6. I can't have two variables, right? I can only have one variable. I can only have the one thing I'm looking for, all right? So what do I need to solve for? I need to solve for angle S, right? And I'm going to solve for angle S the exact same way I did with question number 2, which is doing what? 42 plus 75 and subtracting it from 180. So 42 plus 75 is what, Jose? 42 plus 75 is 42? Why don't you tell me what 180 minus the sum of 75 and 42 is? $63, right? We should get 63 degrees here. All right, so what's going to go on top? Sine 63. All right, what am I going to punch into my calculator? No, what am I plugging into my calculator? 6 sine 42 divided by what? Divided by sine 63. Okay? All right, Christian, tell me what you get when you get it. Okay, 6 sine 42 divided by sine 63. 6.8. Check your mode. Is it in radians or degrees? Do you know how to find it? Okay. Well, that's not our answer. You said 6.8. You typed in 6 sine 42 divided by sine 63. All right. I recommend putting parentheses around 6 sine 42. You did what? Can you get the stick out of your mouth, please? Okay, well, let's put in the right numbers and tell me what you get. 4.5 is what we should get. Very good. 4.5. Okay. How many of the rest of us got 4.5? Great. All right. So we feel like we know what we're doing there. Now let's switch gears. All right. Let's go back to that original set of equations that we looked at. We want to find the area of this triangle ABC under the given conditions. We went around to the nearest tenth. All right. So what's the first thing I need to do with this? Draw a triangle. Okay. All right. Let's see. Corey, where do you want to put 59 degrees at? Bottom left. Okay. 59 degrees. You're going to put there. Okay. Let's see. Sit Lolly, where do you want to put B or your 9 feet at? At the bottom. Okay. So we're going to put 9 right there. Where do you want to put 4 at, Vicente? Which side? I can't go on the right side. Do you know why? Because angle A is 59 degrees, therefore this has to be side A. That says side C is 4 feet. Left side has to be. Okay, so we've got this. All right. So our formula for this, right, is going to be 1/2 4 times 9. Okay, what's next after that? Okay, sine 59. Okay, 1/2 9 times 4, 4 times 9, sine 59. Okay, because our angle always has to be the included angle between the two sides that I have. Okay, Ronnie, when you have an answer for this, will you tell me what you get? (15.4), and because we're looking for area, it's feet squared. Right? Is that easy enough for us to do? Okay, that's 4 questions down. We only have 8 questions. We're halfway there. All right, let's look at question number 5. Okay, round your answer to the nearest tenth. We're looking for A. Let's continue to practice here, setting up our proportion. Maddie, what do you think? What would you put on top? Sine 20. Okay, if you're going to put sine 20 up top there, what goes below sine 20? A, good job. All right, let's finish it off. Okay, what goes top right? Not sine 13, sine 107, because it's always going to be sine of my angle. Okay, what goes on the bottom? 13, there you go. Okay, what am I going to put into my calculator? How am I going to rewrite this, Diana? Sine 20 times 13, so that's 13 sine 20, right? Is that the same thing? Now what? Divided by sine 107. Okay, let's see. Sit Lolly, when you have an answer for this, will you tell me what you get? And go ahead and read it out a couple of decimals. Go ahead and take it to like 3 decimal places. 4 point what? No. Give me like 3 decimal points. Don't round it yet. 4 point what? 4.649. Okay, so usually we would go ahead and, well, okay, that 9 rounds up to a 5, that 5 rounds that 6 up to a 7, but they're just wanting you to look at this, which means they're going to leave it as 4.6. Okay, I know that's confusing. I probably would have rounded it up to 4.7 as well. Okay, but they're going to leave that as 4.6. Do we understand this so far? Okay, feel pretty comfortable using the law of sines here to find some missing side lengths. All right, let's scroll over here to number 6. All right, let's see. Yaneth, help me out here. We're going to set up our proportion. We want to find B. What would you put top left? Sine 64 over what? Over B, good. Equals, what's top right? I can hear you. Let her figure it out. Okay, we're always doing angles on top, right? So sine what? 29 over the side that's opposite it, 11. Okay? Okay. Dom, how am I going to rewrite this so that I can solve it? Okay, so we're going to multiply 11 times sine 64, and we're going to divide it by sine 29. Okay, cross multiply and divide. Okay, Jewel, do you have a calculator? Okay, Jewel, will you punch that into the calculator and tell me what you get? To the nearest tenth. This one should come out a little bit better than our last one. You got 4 point something? What'd you get? You did 11 sine 64 divided by sine 29? Okay. You were still doing number 5. Okay. Yeah, we're on number 6. 1.85? Nope. Let's look at what you're typing in. Okay. For 1, it's not 1 sine 64, it's 11 sine 64, so let's try to do that. So it's just a small mistake here. 11 sine 64. Sine 29. Okay, so we're not closing up our parentheses, and I'm wondering, let's do 11 sine 64. All right, you see how you didn't close that parentheses? We need to close that, divided by sine, oh, I didn't type it in, sine 29. Okay, see how much different that answer is? Yeah. All right, did anybody else get an answer here? Emily, what'd you get? 20.3. Did it round up at all? 20.3 what? So it should be, if we're rounding to the nearest tenth, be what? 20.4 should be what you get. Did anybody get that answer? Okay, small handful of us. So we need to be careful with how we're plugging these things in our calculator. Let me show you here real quick, because I'm seeing some stuff where it was like 11 sine 64 divided by sine 29, right? Notice that if I don't close up that parentheses after that 64, I'm not getting the right thing. So I need to, at the very least, do 11 sine 64, close the parentheses, divided by sine 29, close up that parentheses, see how different that answer is, and all the difference was there was a parentheses. All right, so be careful with that. All right, that's 6. We got 2 more questions. Here we need to find the area. Let's see, Ronnie, how would I find the area? What do I need to plug into my calculator here? Or just give me the formula. 1/2 what? Okay, look in your book. Look in your book on page 506. It should be the very first set of boxes that you have. You don't have a book? You don't have an e-book either? Okay, well, you should have a textbook, right? I gave you one of those at the beginning of the year, correct? All right. Okay, well, if you knew I didn't send you the e-book, then what should you come in here with? The textbook. Is that my problem or your problem? Yeah. Okay. So, and I see a lot of people here with no book, correct? All right, but did we take notes from the very first slide that I gave you? Ronnie, did you take notes from the very first slide I gave you? No, that's not my problem, that's your problem. Okay, so from the very first slide I gave you, right, we're taking 1/2 times what? My 2 sides, right? My 2 outside sides. So we're doing 1/2 times, what did you say, Yaneth? 21 times what? Look again. 28. 28 times sine of what? What? I'm not going to just throw in a letter. I'm using all numbers here. 132. Okay, because it is the included side between those 2 sides. All right, so I'm doing 1/2 times 21 times 28 times sine of 132 degrees. Ronnie, give me that number to the nearest tenth. And as soon as we're done with these 2 questions, I'll send you that ebook. 218.5 centimeters squared. Okay, how many of you got that answer? Got that same thing? Very good. All right, last question for the day, at least before you start on your homework. Okay, number 8. It says, given that measure angle is 53 degrees, B is 54 degrees, side B is 75, and we want to find angle C, side A, and side C. We're going to round our side lengths to the nearest hundredth. So what do I need to start off by doing? Drawing a triangle. All right. Let's see, Mr. Lopez, where do you want your 53 degrees at? Bottom left, 53 degrees. Okay, where do you want your 54 degrees at? Bottom right. Okay, where does 75 have to go? Okay. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and label some things here. So where am I going to label angle C at? Top. Okay. Where am I going to label side A at? Top right. Very good. And so it means side C goes right there, correct? Thank you very much for handling that for us. Now, what's the easiest thing to solve for? Angle C, side A, or side C? Angle C. All right. Lexi, how are you solving for angle C? Okay, 180, right? Not 108, but 180 minus 107. So what does that come out to? 73 degrees. All right, so C is 73 degrees. All right, so we're going to hold on to that. Christian, what do you want to solve for now? Do you want to solve for side A or side C? Side A. Okay, so tell me, what are you going to put top left then? Okay, sine 54 over what? Over 75 equals what? What goes top right? Sine 53 over what? Over A. All right? So Corey, what are we going to write so that we can plug this in our calculator? Over sine 54. Okay? And let's see. Mr. Vicente, can you tell me what side A equals when you punch that in? Can you take it to the nearest hundredths? 74 point what? Point what? 0.8? 0.8? Shouldn't be. 0.04 to the second decimal. What's it say? 74.0. And then what's after that? Yeah, so 0.04. Okay? All right, now we have to find side C, correct? All right, let's see. Emily, you want to find side C? How do we do that? Tell me what you're going to do top left. Okay, do the right side first. C on the bottom. Sine 73, good. What about top left? Good. Over. Good. And I like that you kept the sine 54 over 75 because those are facts that were given to me at the beginning. Those weren't found facts. All right, so they're safe. All right, let's come from that over here. Let's see. I'm trying to get around the room here a little bit. Sit, Lolly. How would I rewrite sine 54 over 75 equals sine 73 over C to solve for B? divided by sine 54. Very good. Okay, this is C. Mimi, tell me what you get when you get it to the nearest hundredth. 88.65. All right, that's it. I will send you your ebook, and you guys can get started.